Disney friends to WDW Parkhoppers Live. My name is Parkhopper John, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy weeks to watch our live show. If you're not watching live, that's okay. Make sure that you visit us over at wdwparkhoppers.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WDW Parkhoppers. And as always, well, for right now anyway, the show is brought to you by the Disney Bucket List. Get your copy of the Disney Bucket List over on Amazon.com, or you can find a link to it at wdwparkhoppers.com. Well, it's been a very interesting, very busy week at Disney. A lot of things going on, a lot of things happening. Actually, it's been a very interesting and busy week here in Orlando. On the same day that Disney's dedicating their their new their new Pandora area, Universal is doing their press preview for Volcano Bay. That's very interesting. So, and then right in the middle of all that, Mother Nature decides to drop a deluge upon both sites. So I just think it's funny, not in a cruel way, just in a funny way that they're doing these events and it's raining all over the place. So anyway, that's just me having a really funny sense of humor. While we're doing this, if you have a question or if you have a comment, drop it in the comment section below, and I'm going to try to read comments here while we're live, so that way we can have a conversation. Let's see here, pressing the wrong button. Yep, there we go. So I can see your comments. There we go. And I need to close that. High tech, man, I'm telling you. So we didn't have our time yesterday because our internet went down, and it came up in enough time where I could have thrown this together, but because I didn't have internet, I couldn't do the research that I needed to do for yesterday. So please forgive me, but we are getting together tonight. Let's go ahead and get started. Speaking of Pandora, Disney dedicated Pandora. The dedication ceremonies were for media today. Disney's Animal Kingdom unveiled the world, as Disney puts it, is out of this world Pandora, the world of Avatar, with massive mountains floating in the sky, rainforest pulsing light, and breathtaking flights of explorers soaring above an alien moon on the backs of great winged banshees. When it opens to the public on Saturday, the 27th, Pandora, the world of Avatar, will transform, transfix, and transport, God, I love that alliteration, Walt Disney World Resort guests to an all-new Disneyland beyond belief, 4.4 light years away from Earth. If you haven't had a chance to see the ceremony that took place earlier today, I highly encourage you to check that out, because it was very interesting. They had some drummers drumming, and they had the typical dignitaries. Iger was there. I think John Landau from Lightstorm was there. Joe Rohde's been around. I forgot his name. James Cameron. They were all talking about it, and I heard through a friend of mine, Bob Gurr's in town, so he's checking it out. So it's a big deal. It's a brand new land. It's a very interesting collaboration between a different company like Lightstorm and James Cameron and Disney. Will it be the impactful company that we're all kind of hoping and praying that it is? I don't know. I've been there. I walked around during the annual pass holder preview, and a lot of really great things. Some things that need some work. But for the most part, a lot of really, really great things. I'm holding out hope that it's amazing. Everybody who's seen it likes it. There's been some negative press about the flight of the Banshee and people who are larger or taller or not your typical body build. And that's not just for people who are overweight. That's for people who are extremely tall or have extremely long legs. It's a challenge that Disney's going to have to overcome. I do know that they are planning to put out a test ride vehicle, which will help a little bit, but you're always going to have those people who are convincing themselves that they can get in it, and the test ride vehicle isn't really 100% accurate. So who knows? Would I stand in line for that ride again for 2 hours or however long? Honestly, just as a Disney fan, I want to. but I just won't. Unless they adjust the ride vehicles, it's just not feasible for me. Even if I was. So the problem, and we've talked about this, the problem is not the weight here. The problem is, my feet, my legs, my ankles, my calves positioning correctly to where they can get the leg restraint locked. And that was the big deal. I don't have that big of calves. I just have really weird shaped legs, I guess, and my feet. It just was a bad combination. So I probably won't ride it. What do you guys think so far? Did you see the opening dedication ceremony? What did you think of that? What did you think of what you've seen in the press so far? Are you super excited, or are you just kind of meh? I don't know. I did see an article in one of the local papers online that was talking about people were, Disney was gambling on a movie that was very old. So it's taken them 7 years to make it. Avatar, the Pandora area, and then I can't remember how long it's been since the movie came out. So they're banking a lot of money, like in the neighborhood of $500 million, I think is the number that I heard, that people are going to remember and be so passionate about Avatar that people are going to come spend the money and stand in line at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And that is not the coolest park in the planet to stay in during the summertime. So I don't know. What do you think? I would love to know. If you have a question, a comment, now's a great time. I'm watching the comments. I would love to talk to you about it. And, let me know what you think. Second thing we want to talk about is the Q2 earnings call happened. So if you're a shareholder from Disney, you got a little bit of insight into what the company is thinking. And I've got 5 takeaways from it, and 2 of them are very similar in relation to ESPN. So the first takeaway was, Disney's vision for ESPN is changing more into a direct-to-consumer branded subscription streaming service, which they kind of telegraphed that with the, we call it future endeavoring in the wrestling world, but with the pink slips that were given to on-air personalities for their radio programming, with their TV streamlining of some of the on-air personalities. It's very interesting to see what ESPN/Disney is doing, but they are definitely going to make a hard play at the direct-to-consumer streaming service. Is this something that you would spend money on? I have this love-hate idea with the streaming services. I think it's great for NBC, NBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, all these different mainstream USA Network having their own streaming service to where if you miss an episode, you can go and watch it online. What I'm struggling with is, if it's $9 for NBC, if it's $9 for CBS so you can see the new Star Trek, if it's $9 for whatever Disney's going to come up with, if it's $9 for ABC or NBC or whatever, it's starting to rack up to the point where you might as well just stay with cable. I understand everybody wants to unplug and get away from cable, but the answer is not, Netflix, Hulu, that's $20, and then Amazon, well, that's $90 a year if you want to do Amazon Prime, you get the free video. Then you start dealing with $10 a month for the different services you want. And then now we're talking about doing ESPN. So are you enough of a sports fan to where you're going to do $10 for ESPN, $10 for Netflix, $10 for Hulu, $10 for all these different subscription services? Is that something that you're going to spend money on? It's to the point now where it's like, I really don't know. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. But the second thing is related to ESPN, that it's really starting to really enjoy more mobile success. So more people are using the mobile side of ESPN than going and watching it on their cable networks, which makes sense. A buddy of mine and I were a couple of guys. We were recording a podcast earlier today, and the one guy was just constantly on his ESPN because he was trying to keep up with some of the things that were going on in the world of basketball. So that's his deal. So I think there is a great potential for ESPN to have a real impact in the mobile/streaming service world, but is it enough for people to be compelled to do it? It's something to think about. So those are the first 2. The next takeaway was Shanghai Disneyland's guest tally for 1 year hits 10 million people. Let's just stop and think about this for a second. In 1 year, the Disneyland has been open in Shanghai. They've already registered 10 million guests. Now, a friend of mine, Tony, from Disney by the Numbers, who is the co-host for the Disney Parks podcast, and I were talking about this the other day, and he was at an event with Marty Sklar, and Marty was talking some statistics about what this means. Shanghai Disneyland Resort is on track to surpass the number of guests, the number that Disneyland reached, 1 billion guests. Shanghai Disney is about to obliterate that. However long it took Disneyland in Anaheim to reach 1 billion guests, Shanghai Disneyland is going to blow through that pretty quick. And that is truly amazing. So that is money well spent, and Disney is reaping the rewards from it. Which brings me to my thought. I know that when you're dealing with Shanghai Disneyland and Hong Kong and Tokyo Disneyland, you have Asian corporations who partner with Disney to fund some of the development, the attractions, all those things. They kind of help Disney underwrite some of the massive amounts of money it takes to build these parks. And the ironic thing is people are coming. So when you start dealing with Walt Disney World, and the trend that we've been seeing for the last few years, there's not been a lot of big money invested in a lot of big ticket items. You've seen the park attendance dip. Now all of a sudden it's like, okay, so we've got, Pandora's opening up. We're starting to get some new restaurants coming. We're starting to get more new builds. They're building the gondola system. They're starting to really push towards making this more of a larger impact park here at Walt Disney World. They need to start building more attractions, which we're going to get to that in just a second. But more attractions, more people, and that's why I'm so disappointed in Avatar, because there were supposed to be, I could be wrong, but we were sold it was more than just 2 attractions. But maybe I'm misremembering that. Seems to me that there was supposed to be more than just 2 attractions, but who knows? Maybe this is where we start getting, more Marvel-related properties and more Star Wars. We're getting Star Wars Land, obviously, and Toy Story Land. What else could we do? There's a lot of rumors going on about Epcot right now, which we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. The fourth takeaway is they went through a pretty interesting conversation about why Disney Studios is, in their words, unstoppable. And for the most part, that's true. Not that many years ago, John Carter was a flop. The Alice in Wonderland, the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass, was kind of a flop. The Lone Ranger was kind of a flop. Disney's not perfect. Pixar is doing really, really well, but they haven't been all amazing films. There's been a couple kind of clunkers. Cars 2, I'm looking right at you. But for the most part, Disney's been really super successful. I throw a lot of that to Marvel, a lot of that to Star Wars and Pixar. So it was really interesting that they're starting to talk about how unstoppable they are. Don't get too far ahead of yourselves, kids. But Disney Studios is doing well. They're having a heyday. It's a golden age for Disney movies, and I'm very excited about that. I'm very happy about it. Pimping my Disney by the Numbers t-shirts. This is an older t-shirt. DisneyByTheNumbers.com, and then you can go to the DBTN t-shirt club. There's also a link at www.parkhoppers.com. Just throwing it out there. And then finally, the last piece of news coming out of the Q2 earnings was that Disney has increased its fiscal 2017 share repurchase target. So they're trying to repurchase more stocks from shareholders, so they've moved their target. It's interesting. I'm fascinated at how the company is operating. It'll be interesting to see what this fiscal 2017 share repurchase is going to do for the company. And looming in the background is Apple Inc. They didn't mention that I saw in Q2. Maybe that's just purely a rumor, but maybe they're keeping their cards close to their vest. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. If you have a question, again, here's David. Do you think that they'll add more to Pandora as the next movie gets released? Anything is possible, David, but probably not. the things that they would need to do to build more in Avatar, I don't know if they have the space for it. I really don't. They've got the big show building, and they've got the Pongo Pongo right outside the show building, and then they've got the dining area. So I don't know. Anything's possible. I don't think they will. This Pandora World of Avatar takes place hundreds of years after all of the movies that they've planned take place. So let's just say that Star Wars Land takes place hundreds of years after the next set of movies happens. You know what I'm saying? So they might, if demand is there and they can figure out what they could put in that would be worth adding, I'm all for it. The more attractions, the better. I'm all about attractions. David says that he's excited to see it, but it's not getting his hopes up. It's a beautiful place to go hang out. It's going to be a great addition to Animal Kingdom. For all of its flaws, it's truly amazing. It really is. The foliage is great. They've made some decisions. I still haven't posted the video. I'm not sure I'm ready to post the video yet, but they've made some decisions that were very interesting, very unique foliage. But the river ride is okay. The Flight of the Banshee is phenomenal if you can ride it. So let's just take that for what it is, and we'll just see what happens, right? So let's move on. This might be something that, this is not my thing, but it was very interesting to see the announcement. LuLaRoe partners with Disney to create a new fashion collection. So this is pretty exciting if you're really into LuLaRoe clothing. Multi-level marketer LuLaRoe announced on May 19th that it has partnered with the Walt Disney Company to create an official collection of Disney-themed leggings, tops, dresses, and skirts. Known for its buttery soft leggings, LuLaRoe is a 4-year-old direct sales organization based in Corona, California, founded by Deanne and Mark Stidham. The company sells its clothes through direct sales representatives who host in-home parties called pop-up boutiques and sell online via Facebook Live presentations. Most clothing is priced between $25 and $75 for women, tweens, and young girls. LuLaRoe clothing has generated $1 billion in sales in the last 4 years and has grown at a rate of 25% per month since late 2016. The collaboration with Disney is LuLaRoe's first partnership with a consumer products company. First, congratulations to you guys. That is awesome. And I mistakenly call it LuLaRoe. I'm sorry, I screwed that up on the podcast, but this is a company that does ground level, grassroots sales, and adding the Disney brand to what they offer will only help them. And I think it's a great way for Disney to branch out into maybe a little bit more mainstream. I mean, they already have deals with, you know, the company that provides clothes for Walmart and Hot Topic and Target, as well as, I had it and I was thinking, Kohl's. They do a lot of stuff at Kohl's. So they've got name brand stores, big box stores who are selling it. Why not go for something like a LuLaRoe? So I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. If you're a LuLaRoe rep, let me know. Maybe we could do something. We could partner together and do like a Facebook Live thing together. I wouldn't mind having you on the show. I think it'd be fun just to see that. Maybe we can get Parkhoppers in and she can speak more. I'm not a leggings kind of guy. I appreciate it, but I don't wear leggings that often. Just a thought. So that'd be fun. And right as I said that, Sid popped into the group. So hey baby. But maybe that'd be fun. I don't know. I would love to have Sarah, Parkhopper Sid, speak to that and let me know her opinions about that. So finally, here's the big news. Here's the big piece that I really wanted to dig into. First permits have been filed for a replacement for the Universe of Energy, Ellen's Universe of Energy at Epcot. So there's been rumors that something's been planned at the Universe of Energy Pavilion for well over a year. And although the plans seem to have been delayed, now we're seeing the first concrete indication that something is about to happen in the northeast corner of Epcot. Disney's filed paperwork with the South Florida Water Management District, or they're also known as Swift Mud, if you ever hear somebody say that, that indicates plans are going to reroute a drainage canal behind Universe of Energy and create 2 new retention ponds to hold additional runoff from a, quote, on-site improvement that will add an impervious area. I love the verbiage. It's clear from the filings that the canal drainage modification is just the beginning of a much larger construction project that's in the works. The western half of the canal area is scheduled to be filled in. That would likely be where the additional impervious area will be added, and what this impervious area will be, we have no idea. Likely, it's an additional show building to be used for future attraction. I have a thought behind that. I'll get to that in just a moment. The back of house, directly behind the Universe of Energy and Wonders of Life, is where the canal will be filled. The fact that the project boundary outlined in the map, if I was using my other program, I'd fly in a map, but if you've seen the blog post, you see the map. You can see where the dotted line shows where it's going to encroach on the parking area and the roadway where you ride your tram to the front door. Much of the entrance and the walkway area is going to be really now in front of the pavilion, while specifically excluding the Wonders of Life pavilion, which means likely that a fairly significant construction project is planned. Way more significant than simply an overlay. So here's some other rumors that we're hearing, and we've been hearing this for a while. The Communicore area, or not Intercot, but Innovations East and West, are going to be leveled. They're going to put some new things there. They're going to completely get rid of them and put something else. What? I don't have a clue. And that's just a rumor. I've heard a rumor of that for a while. So a few months back, Disney was putting sightline balloons up. And when Disney does that, they're trying to figure out the sight line for how tall the building will be, what's going to be seen around it. They're kind of imagining what it's going to do to the landscape, how it's going to change the front of Epcot. Very similar to what they did several months back at Coronado Springs, right before they made the announcement that they were building a brand new tower. So it's very interesting that Disney's doing this, because the rumor that we keep hearing is a Guardians of the Galaxy ride. I'm thinking Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. And the reason I think that is because this extra show building behind the main attraction would be the perfect place for the housing for the extra ride vehicles and the maintenance shack. That's just a thought. I could be wrong, but I think that that's what they could be building there. And we're just strictly imagining and dreaming right now. So I would love there to be a Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, very similar to what they have over in Shanghai Disneyland with the Tron ride, which is part indoor dark ride roller coaster, part outdoor roller coaster. I would be fascinated to see that. I would love to ride that ride. That gets me excited way more than the Pandora thing. So we know that they're doing something. We don't know exactly what they're doing yet. I have lots of rumors. I have lots of friends who are telling me different things, but this is what we know right now. Permits have been filed, so that means at some point we're going to start seeing construction walls go up. That's exciting. Epcot has needed some more thrill rides. Epcot has needed something to rejuvenate it. Future World is not necessarily Future World, especially when you consider that the main attraction in Future World is the, Spaceship Earth, which talks about the history of communication, and it kind of stops with the simulated creation of Apple and Windows. So could use some updating. And I think that having the land with its thing and the Seas with Nemo and Friends, I think that's all great. But really make the front part of the park, I've heard, is going to get a major overhaul. And I would be very happy if they were putting a Guardians of the Galaxy ride there. Disneyland got the Guardians of the Galaxy overlay, kind of refurb of the Tower of Terror. I would love for Walt Disney World to get a Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. Now, if they were to do a roller coaster, well, first of all, let me ask you this question. What would you like to see them build? I'd be fascinated to know what you guys think. But if they were to build a roller coaster, I would love it to be very similar to the Pirates of the Caribbean that they have in Shanghai Disneyland, where they're using full-size screens. They're projecting stuff on the screen so that you can ride your coaster through one of the amazing firefights like they have in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I would really dig that. I think that would be a phenomenal experience. If I were an Imagineer, I'd be pushing for that. I'd also be pushing for as much technology into the communicore areas, the interventions east and west. I would love for there to be some things there that actually are really pushing technology, if we're going to keep calling it Future World. That's just me. And I would love for Tomorrowland over at the Magic Kingdom to be very Tomorrowlandy. That's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave me a comment. What would you like to see built in Epcot? What do you think they're going to build? What do you think all of those plans and files that permits that they filed are going to be? Let's dream a little bit. Why not? We built Pandora. It only took us 7 years. Maybe we can see a Guardians of the Galaxy ride before I turn 40 or 50 or 60, I guess, at this point. Anyway, that's my time tonight, guys. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to hang out with me. Next week, we'll be back on our regular Tuesday at 8 p.m. time slot. Make sure that you visit us over at wdwparkhoppers.com. Visit us here on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at wdwparkhoppers. And last, but certainly not least, make sure that you go pick up a copy of the Disney Bucket List. You can get your copy signed by me, if you want, over at WDW Parkhoppers, or you could just get a copy from Amazon.com. With that, my friends, thank you for taking time. We appreciate you guys, and come visit us, wdwparkhoppers.com. 4 parks, 1 world, and everything in between. And we can't wait to see you in the parks.